Put my phone on silent.
Y'all ready for this? Oh, we are? Aloha, you beautiful mother fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Kyle Cornell, AA Anthony Alfred with you. As always, are you chopping wood? What are you doing?
Sorry I was late today. I was picking up a flag. Did you not see the ruling that went down today?
He actually got here before I did, so what does that tell you?
I need to go to a football stadium. No, Ohio Stadium and plant my flag.
Yeah, it's a felony now, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Felony. Yeah. I think you get, up to 2 years of prison for that? Go in there, plant your flag.
Private property. What the fuck are you doing?
And I love what was pointed out. It's only at Ohio Stadium.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like a don't do this at any football stadium.
Oh, no, you can do it other places.
Ohio. You can do it anywhere.
Just not at Ohio.
Like, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the state of Ohio. Just not at Ohio Stadium. Because we got to look out for our law enforcement. We do. I'm not saying we don't. We do. But,
How about just don't storm the field?
How about beat Michigan? How about beat Michigan?
I don't
Which is
care about
funny.
that.
Which is funny because, oh, dang. We lost to Michigan. Oh, well, we're still in the playoff.
What is we? You went to Bowling Green. I went to Toledo. Like, the fuck we rooting for Ohio State for? We got our own problems in the MAC. We got to figure that shit out.
See, here's the difference. I know where BG stands in the scheme of football. We're just happy to make the MAC championship once every 4 years. Make the MAC championship, and once we do, we're going to lose our head coach to a Power 5 school, and then we start over again. Yeah. I mean, look.
I don't accept this.
Dave Clawson, he went to the MAC championship when I went to BG, and he went on to coach. I think he's still at Wake Forest. I think he's still there. And then Coach Babers, he took over. They had a losing season his first year. Year 2, they went 500. Year 3, they was in the MAC championship, and there was no year 4 because he took the job at Syracuse.
Yeah.
And I had a class with his daughter. Which was funny. She was a nice person, but it was so funny here. Oh, I got to take like a couple weeks off. Our family we're going to Hawaii for a full vacation, like a full vacation. Like I know you went earlier in the year, but I'm talking about like a paid, like a 2-week. We're into everything vacation.
AA listing off Bowling Green State head coaches is turning our audience into minions. What?
I mean, those are top names, and don't even get me started going all the way back to Urban Meyer and then the success and
yeah, he did really well in Jacksonville.
And we're talking college. We're talking college.
I like bringing that up.
Those 2 years.
He's kicking kickers in the.
Hey, listen.
Kick.
So when he went back, when he was coaching at Jacksonville, you remember when that photo that surfaced when he came back to Columbus?
Yeah,
it was
like during the actual season.
Yeah,
not on a bye week. He just shows up in Columbus. Like what?
Maybe the science made sense. He was like, wait a minute, just thinking back.
Maybe
all this time in Columbus, you're told how great you are at Columbus. You're God over there, basically in Columbus. And in Jacksonville, they're ripping you day in and day. They don't have any football success down in Jacksonville. Look at the owner. So they have no success down there in Jacksonville, no nothing. And for 8, 9, 10 months, he's down there, nothing. He comes back home, comes back to Columbus. It's all golden. It's good. Life's good. Did you hear that? He had to put out a statement last week. Actually, I'm not going to I actually don't want to return as the head coach of Ohio State. Okay, we'll see.
I could care less than the ground he walks on.
I don't. It's just I don't know that whole
it's
situation.
0, by the way, because the ground's an animate object.
I know that whole situation is like if you're going to be a politician, if that passes, then I think the both of us have a bright future in politics. If that passes, I think we have a bright future.
Just waiting for Jake to have some free time.
Just waiting.
Can you run for the mayor of a city if you don't live in the city? You have to be the mayor. You have to live in the city you want to be mayor.
I think you got to be in some form of a zip code.
Okay.
Even if your neighborhood borders another suburb. Like, hey, I'm looking after issues in Menor, but I'm actually.
That was the running joke with me and Jake was, yeah, okay, so whenever you get done with this RFK thing, you can help me run for mayor of Parma. So like, my entire life I've lived there pretty much. Yeah, they will. No. Stupid fucking rules so we can avoid getting good people into position, right?
Welcome to the show.
Damn
great
right.
to be here. Great to be here on the show.
I'm in a serious mood today, right?
I could tell.
So eat a dick. What's going on?
I could tell. I told Pete before the show, I've had today total 6 cups of coffee.
6?
6. I'm locked and loaded. We're gonna be on segment 5 in like the next 10 minutes.
Wow.
I'm loaded. Like,
okay.
Here we go. That's the stuff we're talking about today.
The whole show turns into rapid fire.
Here we go. Time for the sweet moment of the week, brought to you by BA Sweeties. And New Day ranks alongside the Wyatt 6, and I believe I forgot who else, but 2 times sweet moment of the week consecutively. I think Wyatt 6, and then somebody else.
Probably some bloodline shit.
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
I think so.
At some point down the road, we've done that multiple times
Yeah.
in a row. But this was like Dom Mysterio in the beginning level heat that they got, where these two came out to explain themselves, and they did not explain themselves. They couldn't.
They couldn't.
The crowd didn't let them talk. I don't know if they were supposed to actually say anything during that segment, or if Triple H had the grand poobah wisdom of like, oh, they're going to boot you out of the fucking building. Don't even worry about it. Say like 3 words. Like, because they have prior experience with Dom. And the segment last week was so, or 2 weeks ago now, was so over. And there was the big pop in the rating too with that. And like, I don't know if they kind of like put the pieces together to be like, yeah, this is going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry about it. You guys don't have to talk about this yet. But yeah.
Have you ever back in grade school, whatnot, or even at your workplace, there are certain people who like. There are 3 types of people at work, right, or at grade school, whatever. There's a third who, they're not that good, at their whatever, and when they do wrong, you kind of expect it. No big deal. You kind of expect it. And then the middle third is, all right, they're good people, but they're going to make mistakes. They're going to do some bad things.
There's a bunch of first graders. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. You don't know, right? And then there's maybe a 10%. They're like, they do everything right all the time. They're like they're the gold standard of what you want at your workplace. And
I like the workplace analogy better than the elementary school analogy.
Yeah.
90% of these kids are fucking stupid.
Yeah. They have no future.
What they're doing here.
They have no future. I don't even know why send them across the street. Jake could be their mayor. And, they'd be the superintendent. And then, so those kids or those adults, when they one time in the entire year or one time in 5 years or, in this case, one time in 10 years, they do something dastardly.
Do something wrong.
They do something wrong.
Well, that we perceive as wrong.
Right. So I feel like they're like, what did we do wrong? And you got people who hold them to a higher standard, like Cody Rhodes. Holds them to a high standard. Everyone backstage, like, how could you do this? Nobody told Big Show that when he turned heel 3,000 times in his career. Nobody told any of these other, the bloodline, Roman Reigns. Nobody's telling Roman Reigns, how could you do that? Nobody's telling Seth Rollins when he was a heel, or even now when he's feuding with CM Punk. Like, how could you do this? And they may ask, like, what's wrong? But they're like, how could you do this? Like, to discuss.
What do you think of the equity these guys have put in as being, they said it obviously with the mic, but no one could hear it. Like, all the positivity we put, like, 10 years straight of being the same people. And it's like, it would be like John Cena in the middle of his 15-year run, like 10 years in, just heel turn out of nowhere. And like kind of signs and then just saying fuck it and flipping the switch.
Well, Hulk Hogan, NWO turn.
That was late in his career,
It was
but
late, but
he still got the pop because WCW was also hot too at that point.
Right.
But like, yeah, like
but
it's
that was the same principle. It's like
Yeah.
there are some people who have only seen good guy Hulk Hogan, and then
there are some people who don't
16
remember that New Day when they came in were a heel team. They were not.
That's
good
hard.
guys.
That's hard to remember, to be honest.
Because it was over 10 years ago. But they came in as a heel faction, which naturally, yeah, we're wearing the colors. We're saying we're basically going to church every day. That's what their whole thing was. You know, we got the choir with us. Like, people were like, what the fuck is this? Boo. Like, three guys, like, Kofi. We know Kofi. Who the fuck are these two? Like, you know, isn't it the guy that was a bodyguard for fucking Dolph Ziggler? I don't
True.
know. Like, yeah. So, like, naturally, they were heels, and they built this whole image up with the gaming and with everything else, too, where they just got over with everyone as faces. So, yeah, this turned a trend, and everybody was used to it because those three are real friends in real life. So to have this kind of story come out of it, especially with E, who is probably the most likable out of all three of them.
Yeah. Probably the most likable in the company.
I cannot wait for the day that he comes back. I hope to God he does, because they have money printed.
Big E is one of those people. It's like, how could you hate Big E in any way, shape, or form? How can you perceive Big E?
I could see how some people would say he'd be a little annoying just because he's over the top all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now with this layer of the story and with this behind and with him and his future, when it comes to showing up for those pre-shows, his desk job, all that stuff, you got to think it's going to start wearing on him. It's going to start adding up. I mean, this is one of those things where we always beckoned and wanted the Shield triple threat. We always wanted to see it. We wanted to see this huge three guys WrestleMania for a championship. Be a bigger three-man match at this year's WrestleMania if things go the way they could.
I just think the next time, I don't think they're going to do like a pre-show for the main event show Saturday, but just think the next PLE, Big E on the pre-show.
It's Rumble.
He's at the desk, and Wade Barrett is just egging him on. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have a future match between Cody and Xavier Woods.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Woods in this, because Woods is a heel.
Uh-huh.
As a serious guy, because we know he's a talented wrestler, too. But he's been missing that thing.
Yeah.
If he can lean into this heel persona and have it be a real heel persona where it's believable, where a lot of the stuff, the gripes they had, was based in truth.
Yeah.
He didn't come back. He stayed on the sidelines. He didn't come back to manage them 3 years ago when he was allowed to be around the company again. He went back and started working for the pre-show stuff. He didn't do that. He didn't check in with them all the time. You know, he was around once in a while for that kind of shit. Like, a lot of the reasons why they're upset, at least why Woods is upset and why he convinced Kofi to be upset too, is valid.
Oh, it's very. That's
the best heel characters are rooted in some sort of truth. Now
that's the troubling thing. Kayfabe, that's a good thing. But troubling thing, and we dive into the story, it's like,
what's his excuse?
Man,
he's got to talk about it at some point.
They're right. Pete, my apologies. We did not go over this before the show, but do you have the one clip here with? Okay, before you play it, I did not know that there was a backstory behind Kofi and Xavier.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not know.
Really?
I had no idea.
I think I've watched so much Cody Rhodes shit over the past 2 years that I just found out that they went to school together and all that and everything.
So the segment here is gold, by the way, is and we're going to talk later in the show about the transfer window, and that's why Cody was there. And Cody mentioned, he's like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. But the first thing he said was, like, I've known you guys a long time, and we've gone way back since high school, whatever. I did not know this, but Pete's going to play a clip for you here. This is courtesy of Inside the Ropes, I believe. And this is Cody explaining, I guess, the beef between himself and Xavier Woods that seemingly came out of nowhere from high school. Take a look.
Xavier Woods and I went to high school together. We ended up wrestling one time. He wrestles up a weight class to wrestle me. If you ask Xavier Woods, he's going to tell you a completely different version of the story. The legitimate version is he loses by just a few points. Fast forward to I'm on their side of town at a bowling alley with a girl who I just started seeing named Lindsay. I guess Lindsay and Xavier used to see one another. So Xavier Woods shows up, and if you could see how Xavier Woods used to dress, it's terrifying. Leather coat, huge Rough Rider, platinum chain, and I see him. And I don't know if I got lucky or not, but I grab the ball, I roll it down the lane, and it's a fucking strike. And I walk over to him, and I said, I know you. I beat you. And I walk away and didn't think anything of it. And now, whenever I see him, he likes to remind the entire world what a huge piece of shit I am. Xavier Woods and I.
This is gold. Courtesy of Inside the Ropes. This is gold. Now, you knew about this.
Yeah, I knew about their relationship in high school and all that. Like, they both wrestled. They both, like it's.
I think anything that first of all,
what's the face there? He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
he dated a girl. This guy took his fucking girl. He beat him in a wrestling match. Then he bowled a strike, came over and said, "Oh yeah, I beat you," and walked away. Yeah, fuck Cody Rhodes, man. What do we?
There was a series on YouTube I used to watch.
Perfect heel even in high school.
I know.
Oh my God.
There was a series I used to watch on YouTube. It was called Why Zach Morris is Trash. Say by the
We're
bell.
finding more and more reasons why Cody is just like not a good person. Like, oh my God. This white meat baby face. Everybody loves him. We gotta let Anthony know out in California or the West Coast, Washington, like, hey man, listen, I know you love Cody, but this is kind of a dick.
You might be. I'm sorry. You might be doing a heel turn on your wedding day.
Oh,
you might be doing a heel turn.
You're gonna show up with black hair, fucking run. All right.
Oh,
New location, set it up, have a backup just in case.
Man. Great series, but if you're a Saved by the Bell fan, watch those shows, and you'll never look at Zach Morris the same ever again.
Oh, he was terrible.
Cody Rhodes is heading that direction.
He's the Zach Morris of WWE.
Listen. You know what? Things are coming together, man. Things are coming together.
Remember that time we almost got Cody Rhodes on the show? Me neither. There you go. I think you guys called me at one point the Zach Morris of WWE. Respectfully, what the fuck was that about?
What was that? What did you say?
What?
About time somebody told on themselves. Hey, maybe Mello was right this whole time.
Oh, shit.
I'm just trying to relay what everybody's been saying in the locker room this whole time.
This is wild.
Man, you know what? People hating on New Day.
Good. They needed it. We talked
Not
about
us. We ain't hating on New Day except when we go to the shows because we got to do our job as fans.
Yeah.
But you're right.
It's
They're
great.
Right.
It's honestly, it's great because, like I said before, it's based in fact in their mind, and you can believe it because it's relatable. Having someone that you cared for 5, 6 straight years that was there for you every single day, so it seems, was there for the birth of children, all that stuff. He was in the room with, he was there, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And you check on him, you go see him, you make sure he's okay, and then when he finally is able to travel and come back and do things, he doesn't rejoin you and your friend. You guys don't.
And they held on to the fact that, hey, maybe he will come back. Maybe he will. They held on even going back weeks. The last few, they held on to the fact that maybe he is going to come back. Maybe he is going to come back.
They didn't replace him on purpose, and the cracks started showing with Odyssey Jones at one point before he got released. And I think the initial plan was to have him be the official replacement. I imagine there would have been something involved with the 10-year with him.
Yeah.
But, it's I would like to assume that the reason why this went in motion is because he has been cleared. Or he's close, very close. And they're like, okay, WrestleMania's coming up. We could find a way to work this through. How they get to whatever match it's going to be, I don't know what it could look like. I think a triple threat would make a lot of sense with obviously Woods being the clear heel, E being the clear babyface, and Kofi being the one in the middle because he's wearing the Majin Buu thing. I don't know if you saw the different conspiracy theories about that. I like when, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I'm sorry, I'm going down an anime tangent.
We mentioned Saved by the Bell, Dragon Ball Z, and Ohio State at the beginning of the show.
It's wild.
We're on. This is holiday season for real.
We're in block 2 right now. But when Vegeta gets the Majin Buu thing on his head, he embraces the evil in his heart instead of normally thinking about the good things. And he's wearing the necklace now. Everyone's putting that analogy in because they're obviously big anime video game guys, where now it's like Kofi's embracing this hate. Instead of being his true self, he could have that conflict going into WrestleMania. I think a triple threat would be fantastic.
Would you accept a handicap match? Kofi Xavier versus Big E?
No, because I think the whole point of this is to make, I would hope, Xavier Woods.
Okay.
Kind of like with Chad Gable.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you were talking about how he was going to be a footnote, kind of, and Otis was going to be the guy, and now Chad Gable's wrestling Cody Rhodes in the main event, and Otis is on a fucking Slim Jim commercial, maybe.
He'll be on WWE Speed one day.
Yeah.
He has potential.
God have mercy on his soul. Manny Rose got married too. Sorry, but nevertheless, like, I mean, this is what we're talking about. Woods has that potential. He's the only one of those three not to win the world title, to not have that real strong push besides the King of the Ring.
He has the highest ceiling, to be perfectly honest. Now, because we don't know
now
about
with
Biggie's,
Kofi's older, he's the injury.
Woods has the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
You can go places with Woods.
You can raise the roof.
You definitely can.
With Xavier Woods.
Love the camera thing when he took the camera.
Give me. I don't care if you're John Cena's friend. Give me that camera. That's a match.
You go distance.
Talk about Cena, the ultimate good guy, right? Never turned heel. 20 years plus whatever in the company. Always just straight and narrow.
Oh no. I am not about to hear John Cena talk about morals and standards.
You might.
To Xavier Woods.
You might.
God, that's exactly what's going to happen.
You might. That could be one of the things.
Oh no.
But again, it's about John trying to make some of these guys too along his road in his last year.
I'm only kidding.
You're
right about that.
You may have to suffer through that then, because if Woods is where you think he
know.
could be, I mean, that could be huge. I think, honestly, if they have the match at WrestleMania, I think Woods should win it.
We got so many topics to get through. I just want plant this. Is there a possibility, give it 18 months from now, that Xavier Woods, as who he is now, as the layers get peeled off, that he could emerge as a upper mid-card level babyface?
I would venture to say, depending on what happens with the World Heavyweight title, he could very well be a main event level heel.
Heel is likely, but we're laying out the reasons why we're laying out these reasons. I'm just sitting here thinking, maybe people will see what but he is so good though right now, his heel role.
He's needed this for a long time because, like we said, Kofi and E have gotten over before. He's never really truly gotten over.
Yeah.
So this is his ticket. It's not like Kofi. There's not going to be a Woods Mania. There's not going to be this huge groundswell to win a Money in the Bank or anything like that. He's got to build this through hate.
He has to.
And through anger and through frustration of the
honestly,
fact that everyone else has gotten over besides him.
This is the Roman Reigns tribal chief playbook.
Is it going to...
I'm not saying it's going to lead.
No.
It's not going to turn out the same way.
Woods will never be that guy.
But this is the playbook.
Yeah.
This is I'm channeling all this hate that you guys have given to me all these years. Kind of a different scenario here. And through hate, I'm going to turn it up 10,000 notches.
I see, ironically enough, floor for this version of Woods, Finn Balor. Like mid-card Finn Balor, like mid-card champion, that kind of stuff. Ceiling, Damian Priest. Maybe wins a world title or two. Is taken seriously, is in main events, that kind of stuff.
He's on the B show, main event, SmackDown.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but
that's good. That's phenomenal
compared to where he's been. Listen, fantastic tag team, yeah. But like he's the only one that hasn't stood out.
Yeah.
Besides when he had a fucking trombone in his hand, which he doesn't anymore. So,
but he's standing out right now.
Yes.
This you can see it. He's standing out right now. All right, we got to move. But that is our BA Sweeties Sweet Moment of the Week. It's New Day. I put in our group thread. Everybody hates Chris. ... The New Day, but it is a new day. And it's a new day, and week 1 of the new heel New Day, very, very successful. Even though they couldn't say a word to the audience. You may not be able to say a word after you go to BA Sweeties and consume all their candy.
Yeah,
because you're going to be...
or you're going to crash from a sugar rush, but that's a good thing to happen.
Yeah, that's going to be great. 6770 Brook Park Road, 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Ohio. On the Ridge Road exit on Interstate 480, make a left on Brook Park Road. And you'll see the giant lollipop. And when you go in, 74, soon to be 75 years of tradition. Soon to be 75 years of being the largest candy store in North America and just standard of excellence, BA Sweeties.
And make sure, too, when you guys head in there, mention us. Be like, hey, yeah, we saw you guys on the on a podcast, a Side Hustle Wrestling podcast. Yeah, we noticed. Like, they love hearing that kind of stuff. Obviously, we love to get the word out for them, too, because not only is it a local business, but the fact that it's been around, as Double A mentioned, for pretty much 3/4 of a century.
amazing.
Largest,
Family owned.
Yeah.
Family owned. Tom over there at BA Sweeties handles business. All the candy you could think. You remember we're going to throw another show reference in right now. Supermarket sweep way back when. In a supermarket sweep, you had you had the section of the candy, and you go by like, you gotta get this candy, gotta get this. Imagine doing a supermarket sweep. No, don't steal the items, but go to the supermarket sweep all through that big warehouse. All the candies.
I'm telling them to lick the lollipops on the outside. You're telling them to go in and steal shit. Yeah, we're doing a great job.
Go ahead and do it.
No, but honestly, Double A is right. You could kind of go down one of the aisles, put your hand in behind one of the things, just put it all in your cart. You're probably going to like it.
Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Don't believe us? Watch this. You see it right there, the large candies. We're not kidding. When we said literally, you could just sprint in there. You're going to be tired before you get to the end of the aisle.
Oh, yeah, if you run laps, you're going to run a total of 1.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, okay, I need to stop. Like, yeah, it's a huge place. So much different variety to choose from, whether it's the Shake Shack up front all the way to the candy bars in the back. They got you guys covered.
A lot of great stuff. BA Sweeties again. You see the address if you're watching us for our audio listeners.
And it's the holiday season.
6770.
I didn't mean to make him start singing.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Don't you fucking start.
His mic doesn't pick up sometimes. I'm kidding. I know.
He doesn't like to participate in this show. Yeah,
6770 Brook Park Road, Cleveland, Ohio. Zip code 44129.
By the way, I'm not grumpy. I'm crossing my arms because I'm a little chilly in the studio today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm also a little wet. Wonder why that is.
Going to BA Sweeties. Check them out. 6770 Brook Park Road, Cleveland, Ohio. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit. Make a left on Brook Park Road. You'll see the giant lollipop, and you'll be right there. Let's move on.
That was a leak joke.
I figured that was the best way to handle that joke is to completely
just
no-sell
power
the
right
joke.
through, yeah. Fucking no-sell the joke. Thanks, Double A. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
At least I didn't have to explain it. That's always good.
All right, we got a lot to cover here on the show today.
We do.
Saturday's main event's coming up. And those are the 3 champions. Those 3, they're going to defend their championships. Of course, we talked about Cody Rhodes. He's not facing Xavier Woods, but he need to be focused in on Kevin Owens. Great sit down, by the way, with Michael Cole in the car. If it wasn't for the New Day stuff, that might have been a sweet moment.
That's pretty funny.
Of course, Finn Balor. He might be winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther is in there. And Liv Morgan will defend her championship against Io Sky. So, of those 3, and there are rumors that there will be a major title change at Saturday night's main event. Who will most likely lose their championship this Saturday?
I'm going to say the man in the middle. I think Gunther is ripe for the picking. I don't think Cody's losing it yet. But stranger things have happened. If they wanted to get to a Kevin Randy feud that made sense for Royal Rumble, they could have Kevin beat him. Because who's going to beat Cody for the title? I don't know. Roman's the big asterisk and behind all that now. I guess he's just taking December off. So that's great.
Good for him. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Because now Solo can just do whatever he wants on SmackDown and there's no repercussions again. So we're right back to where he fucking started with the story. Nevertheless,
you just explained the Bloodline story in the last.
That was frustrating a little bit. But I mean, there is a lot of rumors that Finn's going to get a big push in 2025. I'd imagine this be a great start of that.
He's been emerged as the supposed locker room leader over on Raw.
He does not have to be champion going into WrestleMania. He can be champion going into Royal Rumble, maybe even Elimination Chamber, and then could possibly lose it in that, We know Cena's going to be involved there, whatever it is, that kind of stuff. So I mean, that's always an option.
Mm-hmm.
It's, Cena beating Finn feels a lot better than Cena beating Gunther. That kind of thing.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
And then making the story about trying to defend his championship or whatever, like that's kind of cool. So, I think that makes the most sense. I think Liv is still too early. I know she said title for 200 days or whatever it is, but it still kind of feels like there's not the right person yet. And obviously Cody, I mean, they could do it with Cody, but also doesn't really feel like the right person.
So I'll go from least likely to most likely. So I think we would both agree that least likely would be Cody.
I would say Liv.
Okay, I'll give you that. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend that, but I'll just say, in my opinion, least likely would be Cody.
It's pretty close with those two. I don't know. I mean, I can't really see. Io Sky as champion doesn't make a lot of sense to me right now. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Especially with them going to Netflix, you want someone who talks, someone who's over a lot.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I was just, yeah.
Damage Control isn't over right now.
So,
Io's over, but not Damage Control.
So I will say, I'm gonna say least likely Cody, because you probably want the face of the company to be champion going in at least to the Netflix show. So you do want that, unless they want to swerve and they want to do a rematch on that show. But I would say least likely Cody. Then Liv, and then it's like those two, and then Gunther. You know what?
It's a triple threat match now too. It's 3 guys. So
with Damian Priest, which I could.
It's no disqualification, but Judgment Day's banned from ringside, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
So
that's for the match on Monday for the tag titles.
Oh,
the triple threat match, Judgment Day is not banned because everything goes. So they can get involved with that too.
So I fully expect Finn to win that championship, and then the Royal Rumble match or the Netflix January 6th match, him and Damian for the championship. It almost feels like that has, like the way Raw has been structured for these last several months. It almost feels like that kind of has to happen at this moment.
You wish what could have happened in that situation is that in that triple threat match, Bronson Reed could show up and take out Gunther.
Yeah. That
would have been, because they've been talking about getting Gunther as a babyface.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Bronson Reed, how do you build him up even more?
Mm-hmm.
Kick the shit out of Gunther.
And he's hurt.
But now he's hurt and can't do it. So now, who knows? Maybe that changes plans. I don't know. Maybe that's why they incorporated Damian into this too, to try and pull something else out. To be completely honest, I don't think anyone's losing their championship. But if someone had to, and it makes a lot of sense, it would be Gunther. And Finn's put in work for 8 years, dude.
And again,
I know you hate him, but like he's one of the people you hate the most. Him, Braun Strowman, just a bunch of guys you have on your shit list for some reason. But
it'll be revealed next week. My final shit list of 2024.
Double A shit list.
Otis's disappointment. He might be on that list.
Such high hopes.
You have let me down.
Such high hopes.
I expect AEW to let me down, not you. You have, you know what? Shave your beard. Shave your beard. If I was running WWE, I would go in there for one day and then get fired, but at least get paid. And I would look at Otis and say, "I have clippers. Zzz. You're shaving your beard." Hair makes a difference between a babyface and a heel.
So you want him to be a babyface?
I just want him to be relevant.
Yeah, it's
like I said. I said.
The next Dusty Rhodes, right?
Unbelievable.
Man, what a terrible take.
Man, unbelievable. And I thought I somewhat made it up when you laid the smackdown on Joe Tessitore's first show.
Which, I mean, he's still kind of hanging on. I don't know.
I will say this. As much as you have somewhat warmed up to Joe Tess, I am kind of fizzled.
You're going the other way. Right?
I'm going the other way.
Well, to be fair, I haven't gone that much higher up. It's tolerable. I don't like the fact that he's probably going to move to SmackDown.
It's going to be a 3-man crew there.
No, I don't think it is. I think what they're going to do is SmackDown's going to be Tessitore and Wade Barrett, and Raw is going to be Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee.
Oh, boy.
They're going to line up Netflix.
Yeah, they are.
Hard.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to put Pat with 2 play-by-play guys, which...
That's going to be something.
He's going to be shirtless at the time. It's going to be fucking wild. If you're looking for an R-rated Netflix show, you won't get it, but PG-14 or TV-14 will be Pat McAfee on commentary. Maybe one day he'll come out in a banana hammock. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Like, it's going to be wild.
Man.
Fresh out the college game day set, too. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And McAfee's been fantastic on game. Him and Nick Saban. Nick Saban's made for television.
Saban going to be a DC at UNC now?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Hey,
everybody needs to work somewhere.
this is interesting because there's a different take on what we've seen before with the WWE draft. Do you want to explain to the people what this slide entails?
So these are we've listed 24 wrestlers that are actually on the 24 wrestlers WWE.com chose on their website as far as highlighted superstars. The transfer window. I keep wanting to call it the portal.
Well, at this point,
it really is the portal.
Maybe it's coined by NCAA, so
Yeah.
you can't do anything, or it's trademarked. Who knows?
Well, so we all know what's going down. We just talked about Netflix, and of course, NXT's involved in the story. And if you look closely, there are certain people from that show that is in this graphic.
That get me excited.
And SmackDown, of course. And there are rumors about SmackDown possibly going to 3 hours as well. And then they want to beef up NXT, and of course, all attention goes to Netflix and Monday Night Raw. So this is interesting. So I guess the whole point is, if you've been watching the shows, it's on television. The GMs are talking to various superstars. They're getting invites to come on different shows, and like, hey, maybe you want to come here. Maybe you want to work here. Hey, Cody, maybe you want to work here on Raw, or SmackDown, whatnot. So, do I like it? I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like the approach per se, but it's something different. I mean, it's more negotiating. It's more like on television, presenting like negotiations basically. So to me, in my opinion, the last time the WWE has really, really, really been disciplined with their draft, with the brand split, you got to go back 20 years. You got to go back to the mid-2000s when, like, Eric Bischoff used to trash SmackDown and
Paul Heyman and those guys.
Like
Kurt
you got
Angle
that was the last time the brand split was truly, truly taken seriously. But I guess in this new generation of the brand split, maybe it makes sense. What I would like to see, though, maybe you play it off on television or whatnot, or make somebody a representative. I want to see a Netflix executive. I want to see a CW executive. I want to see a USA Network executive. Like, part of your responsibility as a GM, yes, is to put on, the best show. But if I'm this is kayfabe, obviously. If I'm Nick Aldis, why would I give up Cody Rhodes? Right?
What are you getting back?
But why would I give up Cody Rhodes? Nick Aldis, if it's, again, real life, he needs to answer to why, if the OG bloodline goes to Raw, which they probably will, why did he give him up? So those kind of things, right? So I need to see Adam Pearce and probably a Netflix executive like, hey, come on over our show.
Well, at that point, the transfer thing is strange because when we think of transfers, whether it's, through college football or even like soccer across the pond, there's usually money involved, or there is one person just leaving to go somewhere else, and there's nothing in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like the transfer portal in college football, the quarterback is leaving Tulane to go to Duke.
Yeah.
But Tulane ain't getting shit.
Like, the perfect example of a quote-unquote transfer would be a scenario you laid out a couple of months ago. Drew McIntyre is sick of CM Punk, and they can't be on the same show anymore. Drew McIntyre just shows up to SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, I also threw in that you could just trade him, which they should do at that point.
Right, but I'm just saying, even if it wasn't a trade, that to me is a transfer.
I think the initial idea with the brand split, not only just because of it being literally two separate shows, but also different networks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can only appear on cable TV on one network as opposed to both, because then the network's going to get mad, that kind of shit. The fact that Netflix is a streaming partner and they're not on network TV kind of, I think, blurs the line a little bit more with who can show up where and when, especially in the first few months, WrestleMania season with Netflix being around.
Yeah, and that's the other factor too. It's like
Yeah.
we know good and well, like with WWE, it's WrestleMania season. It's all hands on deck.
Yeah, everyone's there.
Everyone, when you're needed, you're there. There's
Mhm.
no like, oh, we can't feature a Bloodline story because they're on one show. Like they would like a scenario. Like let's go back this past year. So Cody finishes the story and all that stuff, right? They would like to not hold off Roman Reigns or the new Bloodlines reaction to Friday. You want to do all that on Monday. I mean, yes, you got Cody and The Rock, and you did get The Rock to agree to go on that show, but you want your A storyline to be furthered on Monday.
Yeah.
You don't want to hold it off till Friday. So I think that is the all hands on deck.
Well, it's also the deal, too. Netflix paid $5 billion for 10 years of Raw. How much did USA pay for SmackDown? Not nearly as much.
Not nearly as much.
Yeah, so, I mean, your money show, you want to get the highest, largest footprint possible. That's why they're talking about going back to 3 hours. And then, obviously, USA is still like, hey, we've had a 3-hour show since 2014. We'd like to get another one back. We can do in the meantime, the 2-hour shows, but we want a 3-hour show if we're going to lose one whole show of content. So,
yeah.
And they're losing NXT, obviously, they already did. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's that. And NXT is a whole other different platform. I don't really think it's as important for them to. I think Netflix will be the priority for the foreseeable future. And eventually, NXT will be a thing. But, I mean, that women's division is stupid. So, it's unbelievable.
Listen.
But now, I pose the question
Jada
to you.
Parker, man.
Yeah. Get the rings down. Get the ropes down.
Yes. I'm sorry. Back to the show.
If you could pick one person from each brand to put somewhere else, so one person from NXT, one person from Raw, one person from SmackDown to move brands, so to speak, would you have someone in mind that would make the most sense?
So, Trick Williams.
Yeah.
It's like the first name that pops in my head
NXT.
in this entire scenario.
Getting him out of there.
You could tell even now with like the New Year's Evil match that he has coming up that this could be the end of the line.
With Oba Femi, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is going to be, I can't wait for
It's Oba's time, too.
But it feels like this is the end of the line for Trick.
It has to be.
It has to be. That's fine. It feels like you want to get some energy over to SmackDown. You want like, so while, Raw's going to have all the firepower, all the star power, everything, you need fresh faces, but you need somebody who can ascend quickly.
Plus, Melo's on SmackDown.
And Melo's over on SmackDown. I don't think Melo's gonna move.
No.
I think Melo will stay on SmackDown, and you put Trick over there on SmackDown, right at the top. You're gonna get fans excited. You're gonna get fans. The bigger question with Trick: do you also move Booker T? I don't know, man.
No. I think he's stuck at NXT.
I know, man. I know.
Unfortunately.
Man, I'll tell you.
So Trick Williams from NXT.
Trick Williams.
So mine from NXT would be Roxanne.
Okay.
I think she's about due. I think we talked about, honestly, the SmackDown Women's Championship scene kind of seeming a little strange and weird, and I'm assuming when Charlotte comes back, she'll be on Raw and stuff too. So you're going to want to bring someone to work along with like the Baileys and those kind of people, Tiffany Stratton, all that on SmackDown. I think she makes a lot of sense. She's done that for a long time. Plus, the NXT women's roster is so fucking stacked.
I know.
Trick is a very good pick, and I'm just kind of doing opposite of what
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's time for Roxanne, too, to get out of there and let those girls have the full spotlight. And she can earn her own again on SmackDown pretty quickly. So.
Yeah. Braun Breaker. I know the exercises for each show. I guess, Braun's on Raw. But I've also sent him to SmackDown.
Wow, really?
Now.
The Intercontinental Champion?
Oh, boy. I was thinking about the logistics.
Whoopsie doopsie, run it back.
No. I'm not going to run it back. Who's the U.S. champion?
Shinsuke? That's not an even trade.
Flip him.
That sucks.
Flip him. Flip him.
Come on.
Nakamura is somebody that Netflix would love. From a character standpoint, they would love him. The bigger point is Braun Breaker. Again, so my thing with Braun Breaker, I don't want him to be
Lost in the shuffle.
Lost.
I don't think it's going to be easy for him to get lost in the shuffle no matter what show he's
I
on.
know, but when you if you have OG Bloodline, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, maybe Seth goes to SmackDown, who knows? But Seth Rollins, oh no, he has to be on the same show as Punk, so he's staying. So you list all these names, like the roster is going to be very, very top heavy. Braun Breaker, again, somebody who can, again, at some point next year, maybe he's in a feud with Trick Williams. So he is somebody who I don't want him to be lost in the shuffle. He is too good, but I could see his TV time get cut down if he's on the same roster as all those top heavy names. So that's why and if that involves, if you want to be, the logistics of it, if he has to drop the title in some garbage way, fine. But Braun Breaker, even if he drops the title, which he has before, he has proven that one night he could regain heat and be right back on track. I don't have anyone getting sent down to NXT.
No, not yet.
I just don't.
You'll get stuff like Shotzi showing up. That kind of thing. I mean,
if I have to pick somebody from the bottom picture, is it that Ethan Page there in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan Page. Yeah, he had a night yesterday or Tuesday. That was fun.
he'll be up there at some point.
Yeah, he'll be up there. Of course, you got Randy. Randy Orton. You're gonna treat him like a free agent, basically.
He can show up anywhere,
wherever Cody's at. I'm sorry, Kevin Owens. Following along here. What about you?
So obviously Raw to SmackDown, I think Drew makes a lot of sense. We talked about that before. I don't see the champions moving shows. I'm sorry. I could see Cody showing up on Raw, for some stuff, but I just can't. Part of the reason why what you said doesn't make a lot of sense. Why they'd want to give people up, unless Gunther's going to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, you have to do a complete flip.
You have to, because you can't have both champions on one show and no one's on the other one. You can't. They've done that before when Roman was on hiatus and stuff, and it's not fun.
They did that with Charlotte.
Yeah, no,
and Becky.
That was stupid.
Saw how that turned out.
Triple H also usually learns from previous mistakes. Usually, so I don't see that. So I think Drew moving over, getting away from Punk is important. You can't keep those two on the same show together around the same people. Seth's around Sammy, Drew's around Sammy now. It's just not gonna. They had their blow off. They're done.
And remember too, even Drew and Sammy, they're facing off Saturday. You could do a rematch on the first Netflix show if you want to go that route. But yeah, Drew can still move over.
One of them needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes down to like, okay, everyone's staying put, the main guys are Roman staying on SmackDown, Cody staying on SmackDown, that kind of stuff, then Punk needs to go.
Let me give you a name. What if OG Bloodline goes to Raw and then they split off Sammy? He goes to SmackDown. And then Sammy's along with KO. That was teased, by the way, in that little Michael Cole thing.
We'll get to that point at some point, yeah.
That's WrestleMania.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
They've
that's going to be juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's 2 out of 3 weeks in a row where I've used some language in a Sami Zayn segment.
You think Sami Zayn is juicy? Interesting. Oh, by the way, SmackDown.
Anything else?
So someone from SmackDown, I think it's probably time for LA Knight to get the fuck out of there. He needs to be going for the World Heavyweight title. He needs to be in that group, not the mid-card shit anymore, if they really want to give him something substantial to sink his teeth into. I think he's also earned that.
Will he get that opportunity?
For the world title, I think he could. I think on a show with Gunther as champion or Finn Balor. When Finn's champion, all the fucking doors are open.
Oh, I 100% agree.
All the fucking doors are open.
I'm telling you right now, with Finn, if they go with Finn Balor on Saturday, I'm telling you, all hell's breaking loose. If you got a favorite superstar that's in that mid card, upper mid card, you're like, man, we need this person to break out. Like we've been talking Bloodline too much. We've been talking some of these top guys.
We're talking about possibly the Wyatt 6 later too, and what the hell their story is at this point, and what that could mean. Because you talk about Finn with the Judgment Day, the family stuff. There's reasons, his ties to Bray.
Mm-hmm.
There's reasons. There's things that are interconnected. I almost pulled double and knocked my mic over. There's so much I could tie into all of that too. I'm also grasping at straws because I want it to work, but nevertheless, I mean,
we'll see.
yeah,
But this is an exciting time over this next few weeks.
they should just do a fucking draft again. Just
And that's the other news.
Do a draft on fucking the Netflix Raw.
That's the other news. It's like, oh, by the way, they're gonna do a draft early in the year. Rumor get like,
But see, I do that and explain why. Hey, you know what? We are starting on Netflix. SmackDown's officially moving to 3 hours on USA. We need to do this again and actually include NXT this time.
I guess my only thing,
Full-fledged NXT.
I guess my only complaint about the transfer window, like, if you end up having these guys, OG Bloodline goes to Raw, you're gonna need them on the final SmackDown before WrestleMania. Like, I guess it's hard to explain.
You don't need to do that. You can always do air video packages and shit. They'll take up a spot.
I know.
They're gonna cross. They're
still gonna
cross paths.
I guess the for people who are completely against the brand split idea in the first place, you're gonna get the ones who legitimately are saying, "Well, we've been burnt by the brand split too many times in the past. Why bother?
Yeah,
this is a waste of time. Like, we've seen this time and time and time again. Like, why go through this again?"
They made this a point. I think Triple H has made it a point too to give talent time off and breaks and rest with all the travel that they've used to be doing before with the house shows and working, 6 days a week, whatever it is. He's really trying to cut down a lot on that to be competitive too with companies like AEW who don't have house shows.
Yeah,
That basically they film TV once, maybe twice a week and they're done. Like, he's trying to be competitive with that and limit the number of dates. That's why the brand split is important, because that way you don't have guys and girls working, still 5-6 days a week. They can work 2 days a week with the live show, maybe 3 total, and then they're home, 4 days.
Even a double taping, during the holidays.
Yeah, they actually get the time. Like, they're trying to be more cognizant of that for longevity purposes too. So you can have wrestlers in their early 40s, mid 40s, hell, getting into the 50s that can still go.
Yeah.
So it's important to
if
do
we get
that.
more Rey Mysterios who can still, get after it.
Yeah.
You'll be in good shape. All right, you brought this to my attention.
This was wild when I saw this clip because it was so in perspective for Seth.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Pete, let me know when you have that clip ready. We're playing 2 clips today. But this one's...
Those clips.
No.
Like he wasn't prepared. Fuck's wrong with you? Show some respect. Pete, I know you're ready, buddy. You got it.
There's no point of
apologize before we start. Apologize.
I'm sorry, Pete.
Yeah, like he wasn't prepared.
Often, if because I live in the Roman era, that's just never going to happen. The only time I was even considered, I think, for the main event of WrestleMania, Roman, when he got leukemia, and he was out from August till January or whatever, February it was, and I was kind of second behind in the little babyface column there, and so I got slotted in, and so I feel like it's one of those things. I'm like the best I can hope for is to be the Edge to his Cena, or like the Savage to his Hogan. And sometimes I just feel like that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Doesn't mean I don't think that I'm better than he is, or that I can perform, or that I can draw at that level. I certainly think all those things.
Interesting, very in perspective take.
Mm-hmm.
From
Who did
Seth.
an interview about it? Chris Van Vliet?
Yeah, one of those guys did. Yeah. You can obviously see the link to in the video to find the full length interview and everything as well. But interesting, because it does kind of feel like that for 2 guys that have been just connected since they essentially broke into the business on the mainstream level, so to speak, with WWE. I mean, he does very much feel like he's kind of like that second guy.
Well, even if you pinpoint back to the moment of the turn, of the chair shot, in June of 2015, I believe it happened.
Who'd he hit?
He hit Roman.
Yeah.
But you even felt...
Wasn't going after Dean Ambrose.
And the crazy thing, for number 2, man, the career highlights are
what, 4, 5, 6-time world champion? He's won a Royal Rumble. He's
cashed in and won. Cashed in your Money in the Bank at Mania and won.
In the main event, he cashed in. He had to obviously cash in. He wasn't a part of it leading up to it. He wasn't promoted for it. But I mean,
But you leave out as world champion. You, of course, the chair shot. You were the chosen one on television. In big angles and stuff.
But think about this: the only time he's truly been marketed in a main event, he had to have The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes in the match with him. And that's why he was there. Because he was part of that. As champion. He had to have a lot of things to get into that spot. And it was night 1 of a 2-night WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't really ever gotten that spot. And I sense a more loyal, less frustrated CM Punk out of Seth Rollins here of when the fuck am I going to get my turn to really be the guy? And the answer is probably never.
Kyle, you might want to pin what you just said when Punk and Rollins finally feud for good.
We have the same goal, you dumb son of a bit.
When we review that feud coming in March from now, pin what you just said there, because that might be the genesis of that entire feud.
They're so similar, their careers, the character changes, the personas, the turning on teams stuff too. Punk's done it a few different times with a few different
I'm trying to think in professional sports, like in basketball or even baseball,
who's that
who's
the bride, who's the maid of honor but never the bride,
correct
type thing, yeah,
correct.
For a long time, it was Boston recently in basketball. They would always seem to be right around the Eastern Conference Finals or maybe even made the NBA Finals but couldn't win it. Baseball was the Dodgers for a while. Always seemed like they were around and winning all these games but couldn't find a way to finish.
And even as individuals, so baseball's interesting here. And there's going to be something we'll talk about later that you're not happy about. I can't wait for that. And Pete can't wait either. But for baseball,
they healed my wounds a little bit over the past day. So that's fine.
I'll use your Yankees here for example. So in the Austin Rock, that's 1A, 1B, whatever, right? So if you take Aaron Judge and Ohtani, that's 1A and 1B as far as top level superstars.
And it can change.
Yeah. That's the difference. One day you could say Aaron Judge is the top guy in the sport. Next day you could say Ohtani's the top guy in the sport.
Yeah, one day Aaron Judge gave 3 home runs and make a diving play in the outfield, and you're like, holy shit. The next day Ohtani can hit 2 home runs, and he could also be pitching that day for some reason and throw a no-hitter, and you're like, holy God, we've never seen this before.
Right.
It's very much back
Who's
and forth.
been the number 2 to LeBron? Okay, Curry. Okay, that might have been a bad
I would say
example.
Durant or Curry, probably one of those two guys.
Yeah, so I guess that, again, that's tough. Okay, even on the same team, LeBron and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis will never be a bigger superstar than LeBron James.
He may be more important to the team.
Mm-hmm.
He may put in more work.
Mm-hmm.
He may have better numbers now. But it's LeBron.
Mm-hmm. And that might be...
Seth may sell a little bit more merchandise once in a while. He may get a bigger pop from the crowd. He may work more dates. He may win more championships. But he's not Roman.
Right. And the only separator between Seth Rollins and Anthony Davis, Seth Rollins is way more successful. But number 2, he's not as injured as much.
If you check those bank accounts, I'm pretty sure Anthony Davis would be like, I don't know if he's more successful than I am.
Listen.
That's NBA money.
Hey, I'll take AD money. I'll take Zion money. I don't listen.
It was like you were taking a pay cut.
Man, listen.
Probably made more than Anthony Davis at this point. Holy shit.
Oh my goodness. Man, if there's somebody in WWE who has
and he gets to live in New Orleans, lucky bastard.
Man. Well, his he's messing around a little too much. He's having some issues down there.
With what? Food or porn stars?
Yes. So
Pete's like,
yeah. Man. They don't leave him alone.
No, they don't.
They do not leave him alone.
Well, when you're the next LeBron.
Man. But you know what though? Respect to Seth Rollins though, because he's been a company guy this entire time.
Well, to be fair, too,
I love the I'm not gonna say I loved the promo on Raw, but it was pretty good, serviceable. It did the job.
They'll heat things up once they actually get in a ring together more. They're actually fully directing their attacks on each other. It still feels that there's other outside forces, obviously with Drew and with everyone else kind of hanging around. What's Punk's real direction? Jackie Redmond's still asking him about the favor and stuff with Paul and everything.
Yeah.
So there's still different layers that aren't the final product, which is a few between these two. But you can see why I said before, I don't think a match is going to happen imminently, because that needs to be a WrestleMania match. And I hope, because again, who knows, if Finn Balor is champion, they can find a way to make that a championship match with those two, whether it's Seth winning it or whether Punk does whatever and does his thing and gets there. That would be an awesome main event of night one of WrestleMania, to have Seth and Punk, because they both get to check it off the list.
You're 100%. There's a point that's just, I got to get this out. You want to know the definition of number 2? Seth Rollins holding the World Heavyweight Championship and actually being mentioned by Roman Reigns that you're number 2. Like, and they never.
Nothing wrong with number 2.
You know what? It ended well, and the road to WrestleMania was fantastic. Fantastic. I'm still upset that they never really, really allow Seth Rollins to fight off the fact that, hey, he's the World Heavyweight Champion. Like, that's not a number 2. And there's been 2 times this year where they have shown that the World Heavyweight Champion is the number 2. And, of course, going back to Gunther, he lost to Cody Rhodes in the champion versus champion.
Well, you're also talking about that Seth story versus Roman.
Mm-hmm.
He's never beaten me, but I've never gotten a real fair shot to show that I'm better than him.
Will he ever get that shot?
Probably not.
Probably not. And they might look at Seth Rollins sacrificing himself for the greater good of WWE as that. I want to hear, and again, to the build up to his feud with CM Punk. Like, I want to hear that. I want to, like, there's so many. So, yes, he is the number 2. But with his career highlights, maybe that's okay. Or maybe not. If he shows on television that that's not okay, that he's been here through thick and thin, that he's been the Bret Hart of WWE and has been through it all, then that would be telling.
A more modern version of this, he brought up Cena and Edge, which is interesting. I would have said probably maybe not as much Cena and Edge, more Cena and Orton.
I was going to go that route. Yeah.
Seth feels very much like I'm going to be in WWE for forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wrestle into my 40s, 50s, whatever it is, and still be in shape and successful, and I'm going to win a bunch of championships. Roman very much feels like I'll be in WWE for a few more years, and then I happen to have a cousin who's one of the biggest box office stars. I'm actually not that bad at acting myself. I've got the persona now for it. I'm going to start the transition, whatever gets me more. The only thing with Roman that is a little bit different is the fact that he has that family. And they're not in the business. Obviously, his kids are still young and everything too. So the time away from them is an issue. I think that's probably why he hasn't done more stuff like that. But leaning more towards those kind of roles for Roman as opposed to just doing this.
I like that. In the order of things, interesting because they both came from a group. Both broke out of a group.
Yeah.
And then went out to highly successful solo careers. Won multiple championships. So you had that going. All right, coming up. All right. Kyle, you want to explain what's coming up? Actually, I want you to do this, Tease. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. What's coming up next?
I've told AA no on this show exactly 0 times until today.
There it is right there. Just read what's coming up next.
No, I'm not even looking at the fucking screen. I could see it out of my peripherals, and I'd rather not. So let's hear from our fine sponsors.
Hold on.
You shut your mouth.
Hold on. One more. Plug this.
Okay, yeah, you're going to hear me out in a minute. Here. Misspelled, but nevertheless. Let's hear from our awesome sponsors, of course, BA Sweetie and Mike from State Farm. Let's just go to them because words won't do them justice. Let's hear from the guys themselves.
Tom, do you know where everything is here in the store?
No.
Okay.
In a general idea, I do, but I can't tell you how many times my office is on the floor of the store.
Right.
And my door is always open. All our managers' doors are always open if they're there. So if any customer has a question or whatever, if they can't find an employee, stock guy or whatever on the floor, they can just, hey, where's this at? So I can't tell you how many times a customer would come in and say, can you tell me where sugar-free candy is? And I'll say 12N. No, I say no, 12S.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I says, it's right down, go down this way because you're in aisle 7 now, 5 more aisles or whatever. And then I'll think about it after they leave, and I'm like, oh, man, I told them the wrong aisle. It's aisle 13.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible. I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
Well, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
How about that? Mike from State Farm.
Yeah.
And we were just talking. That's why we were kind of late coming back. Pete added some graphics to the video. Did a great job. You can see Mike's face there on the graphic.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Tell you what.
Fantastic stuff.
In the long withstanding battle to seem more professional while the content continues to sound more like trailer park trash, we're so happy to present awesome people that work with us in Mike from State Farm, as well as B.A. Sweetie and
Meg. Omega.
Marketing.
Yeah, video marketing, which we'll talk about momentarily. But
Yeah.
Mike from State Farm, of course, my goodness, what more can you say? State Farm agent and professional wrestler, training for his first match.
So he has committed to showing up in studio the week of Begin Again
We can't
as he
wait for that.
prepares. Now we're just waiting on the other half of that match.
And we're waiting for you to stop into Mike from State Farm's office over in
Mhm.
Cleveland Heights. You saw the address for our audio listeners. That's Cleveland Heights, Lee, on the corner of Lee Boulevard and Mayfield Road, or as the cool kids just say, Lee and Mayfield. Just
As the
I have
cool
to-
kids
I have
say-
to- I have to
as
be
the
a-
normal people who live in Cleveland fucking
as like
Heights
the
say.
normal people who live here.
As most people who talk about streets. But the good news is he is baby-faced everybody because you're all cool because that's how we all fucking talk. So
Oh,
that's-
jeez.
it's fantastic. See,
Holiday season though, and with the weather going
Oh, my
crazy
gosh.
anytime, of course, cold ice, everything going on and such. So
Yeah.
you never know when you need insurance, and you don't want to be caught off guard without an insurance agent you can trust.
You know what's actually an interesting story about all this? Remember when Jeremy Renner had this stuff with the plow and he was saving, I think it was his nephew or something like that, and they got ran over by the plow? The life insurance side of this. Besides the fact that obviously car insurance too this time of year is so crucial because, hey, slipping and sliding all over the place, things happen. You want to make sure you're covered, whether it's your fault or not. You want to make sure you have someone who's in your corner. Stuff like that. Stuff that's just like with the Jeremy Renner thing. It's just random and it happened because, again, just shoveling snow, trying to do some stuff, and same thing, slides go a certain way, you can't stop it. It's a very heroic tale, but it's an unfortunate thing that took a chunk of his life away.
I know, yeah.
And to have support in that situation, God forbid, hopefully it never happens, but you want to have someone who's going to be in your corner in a situation like that when you don't expect it to be. Okay, it's my insurance agent. Well, Mike does go that extra mile for you and God forbid a moment like that could possibly happen. He makes that difference.
Again, you can look him up on the State Farm app. You got the website as well. And his phone number, 216-932-6900. 216-932-6900. That's how you can reach out to. Schedule that appointment now, especially now. We talked about with the holiday season, of course. Mike from State Farm, he's going to hook you up. And, again, this dude, and we're not even joking here, he works crazy hours just to make sure that you're covered. He really does. And him and his entire team. And he will talk with you. Like, he'll talk with you, and, he wants to know about your family. He wants to know about everything that's going on, with your life and whatnot. So make that stop. Get in Cleveland Heights. Now I'm laughing over the street address now.
Go on, say it like the cool kids.
2491 Lee Boulevard, Cleveland Heights, Ohio.
Yep.
What's that zip code? 44116.
Yeah, all the cool kids read out the full address and the zip code when they talk about places.
Or 8-1248.
You don't have to do the
Or 6.
dash at the end.
Yeah, that's like the corporate.
That's
That's
well,
like
that's
the
like when
business.
you're like sending like mail and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I wanted to be official. I wanted to point out everything. I didn't want to just say
On the corner of Lee and Mayfield, Mike from State Farm.
the
is
same
there
building as Starbucks.
That's right. That's right. 216-932-6900. My Fabert.
Oh, yeah. That's the
Fabert,
website.
Fabert agent.com.
And the cool thing is, if you download the State Farm app, you can just type in his name, and it's right there, too. Get that quote.
Yeah.
Get all that taken care of. Of course, training, he's in uniform. We got to ask him.
You know he's bringing out the singlet.
I know.
You know he's bringing out the
I
singlet.
know. I don't know if I like the singlet. I don't know.
Oh, I imagine the wardrobe is going to be... I'm going to use the word flamboyant. But we'll see. We're excited.
January 18th will be the Exodus Pro Wrestling show, and
We're going to have an announcement about that show coming up here in the next few weeks as well, involving us.
yeah, we will.
So...
Also that
interesting.
week, though, the 1 year anniversary show.
Yeah.
And I believe we're scheduled. I think, as you said, we're scheduled to have Mike from State Farm here in studio.
He has agreed to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So now we need to obviously get in contact with his multiple agents,
Yeah.
Strictly Business Brandon Beretta,
Yeah.
to have him pop in on the show. He'll be in town that week, obviously leading up to the event. Big match. So
Got to earn some respect in the wrestling ring. Because Strictly Business, not even joking, he's strictly business. I don't think he believes Mike from State Farm is taking this seriously.
I told you, man, I've been seeing my boy in the gym. He's been putting in work, working out on Thanksgiving, working out on the off days. He's doing everything he can to get ready for that match. But it's a different animal when you step in that ring with someone as talented as Brandon Beretta.
By the way, if you have not attended the Exodus Pro show, or if you haven't attended one lately, go to this one. This is MLK weekend. Begin again. January 18th, 2025. Doors open at 5:05.
What a first show.
And it's great. And Kyle, you've been to 2 shows now. Kyle and Pete, you guys have been to 2 shows now. And it's been knocked down, like highly entertaining all the way through. They're great time. Support independent wrestling that's in your town. Seriously, support it. There's a lot of talented people that want to break in this business. And I'll be honest, at some point, all the people we talk about on our main show, at some point, they're going to get old. And they need new people, to fill in. So go out there, support them, and really handle your business. All right, real quick, if you have a small business and you want to get the word out, you're a digital content creator, or just we mentioned a small business beforehand here locally here in Cleveland. Megan Gallagher, she has you covered. She put a video together for us. She's going to do the same for CVC TV. But Omega Video Marketing, she's going to get your stuff out, through your social media channels and through the business channels too. So if, again, content creator, if you're a business owner, you want to do some business to business connection, you got LinkedIn, this is the person you want to get connected with so you can get professional videos out there and get the word out about your business and about your digital content.
Over a decade of experience, obviously, in the media sphere, so to speak, professionally, and done a lot of great work. Excited to work with Megan now, too. from our end. And yeah, if you want that professional touch on something, you definitely want to talk to her.
Yeah, definitely. Make that happen. Megan RG440. I was just getting the emails just so I make sure it's correct. But off the top of my head, I believe it's Megan RG440 at gmail.com. I'm going to type, yep, there it is. Megan RG440 at gmail.com. What you don't know is that in post-production, I probably put a graphic underneath us that actually says her address right there.
Wow. You can do that?
How about that? All right. Coming up next is right now because AA was too lazy to take off coming up next off the graphic.
See, now we should just skip it.
There's a point I want to make about this. But first, your thoughts. I've been waiting all week for this. Your thoughts on losing Juan Soto. Yes, the one shot is on Kyle Cornell. Go ahead.
I've come to terms. Wish him the best with the New York Mets. I hope he does really well. And I I mean he was obviously a great player for New York. We only had him for a year, so kind of knew what to expect. So yeah, I mean I hope he does well.
There are moments I wish we did the show on Mondays.
Moments.
There is a real quick before you respond here. There was a video I forgot to put it in our system, but I sent it to you guys in the group chat. It was the Yankee fan reacted. It's like, this is where you're playing. It was outside of Citi Field.
So can I ask you a question
Go
about
ahead.
all this too? So on everything I just said,
Mm-hmm.
do you actually believe any of the words that came out of my mouth?
No.
Good.
No.
Good. Because this is bullshit. All right? That was me trying to be nice, but he's the baby face in the fucking show. On the heel, eat a dick, Juan Soto. That's my whole point. All right? Have fun playing for the Angels of the National League. And by Angels, I mean a team that had found a way to have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and still win 80 fucking games. Barely. Have fun. A cursed fucking team. That's where you're going. Over $5 million in a suite for your family. Remember that. Remember that. A guy wanted $765 million instead of $760 million. That was the difference. And a suite for his 45 cousins because apparently Juan Soto is the fucking Rock and he has all his family all over the place. It blows my mind what little bits of money and what really matters to people. The problem with Juan Soto is he already won a World Series as a 19-year-old. So he could talk about winning. Winning was not a priority because if winning was a priority, his ass would be in L.A. right now playing for the Dodgers. They offered him the same contract. They offered him over $700 million to play with Shohei Ohtani in that group that just won the World Series. Like handily won the World Series over my Yankees. Winning's not the only priority. Who's going to bow at my feet the most? Who's going to tell me I'm great the most? It's what it is. It's exactly what it is. So have fun playing for a mediocre fucking franchise who has a billionaire owner that will spend more money than anybody. I don't want to hear any of these two or anyone else, oh, Yankees always spend all this money on the people. And every fucking I don't want to hear it. Look what the fucking Dodgers did. They spent $1.3 billion on two players. Two fucking players. Two. They're not even from here. The Mets just spent $800 million after incentives because you know he's going to hit them on a guy that can't even catch a pop fly. I don't want to fucking hear another minute. Well, the Yankees spent too much money. What the fuck? Respectfully, in the future, I'm going to say this now to get it out of my way. You can both eat a dick, all right? Respectfully. Sorry.
We ain't still your player. What do we do?
Because you set this shit up to get me going.
What do we do?
And this is the first
We're
time
the
I've lost my
middle
mind.
class. We trade for cheap.
You paid a second baseman a crack over $100 million over 10 years, and you're like, we gotta get fucking rid of him. We can't even.
I mean, Juan Soto's cousin couldn't. We couldn't pay for that. What are you talking about?
It's fucking
Yeah,
trash.
man. Yeah, man.
He respectfully declined. Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, it wasn't about winning. It never is about winning with this fucking guy. It's why he left the Nationals after they won a World Series, and we're going to give him $500 million over how many goddamn years. And he left the Padres because they were fucking performing like the Angels, the NL before the Mets did. So there you go. Congratulations. Oh, well, the Mets made it to the NL champion. Yeah, with no expectations after a terrible start to the year because the guy that used to be at Indian got hot.
Doesn't he have like 8 years left?
And he's making fucking bank over there, too. They're paying all these fucking... I don't want to hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it. When the Yankees fall out of the top 5 in payroll, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, I don't. I'm tired of it. It's the oldest fucking argument. Oh, they paid for their teams. Spend more fucking money. Or get owners that are going to spend money. I don't fucking know. Everyone takes losses. Everybody does.
Man, you ever want to hear rich people be upset about things? I mean, that's it right there. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I'm rolling in fucking money, double A.
I mean, that's it right there.
Yeah, my fucking single-digit bank account totally fucking...
I mean, you want to talk about...
My month-to-month having ass is really bragging about the money in mine.
mean, my goodness.
Fucking A. We're talking about all these owners that all have billions of dollars. It's who's willing to spend the billions and invest in the teams. It doesn't make fiscal sense for... Well, then fucking... Look at the Jaguars. Look at Tony Khan. He's spending all this money on AEW. He's not making that money back.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got billions. Fucking...
Well, again, you look at Boston.
How much do you love it, Cleveland?
but-
Hey, Dolans, how much do you love the Guardians, huh? Spend the fucking money. Yeah. Go spend $500 million for Pete Alonso and see what that does for you, you dumb cucks. What do you got?
I picked a great day to wear this hoodie.
Wrong team.
I know it's the wrong thing. Look, man. Look.
Fucking canceled.
Look. Hammy's going to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I was feeling pretty good, okay?
I saw. Wasn't Rob who posted? Like, oh, thank you, fucking Baseball Hall of Fame, for letting us know what we knew about Hammy for the past 20 years. Or
Yeah, he did.
Like, that's a real cynical way to look at it, but it's also Rob, so I guess it is
All
what
right.
it is. But
So, all kidding aside, we did not bring this up solely
we
because...
talked too much about sports today.
Solely because we wanted to get Kyle's thoughts on the Yankees.
You know as you did.
Now, that was 90% of what we did, but that's not 100%.
He sent me the rundown with a little, like, it was like a little giggle emoji. Like, can't wait to hear what you have to say.
That literally is what I put down.
Fuck you.
But there's a point to this, and that's the question that's up there. You know, so, and we talked, we talked about...
It's the first time I read the question.
This graphic's been up there for like 10 minutes now.
Sorry, I've been seeing red, and it's not the font and the lettering that you put on there. Oh, my God. What the shit?
So we talked about this off air, and I want to kind of go through this now on air.
Do I have to?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because there's something. Because what he did with the Met, there sometimes in business, there's somebody out there who could potentially reset the entire market, and you don't even know it. Now, sometimes that effort to reset the market flops. Hello, Jimmy Haslam, Deshaun Watson. And then there are other times where it works, and the entire business is reset.
Give credit where credit is due. At least the fucker spends money. He at least he tries. Like,
No,
you could fall flat on your face, which they did, but like he spent the money.
Right.
I mean, he took
so
a shot.
My point is, the
That's-
Mets did that,
Well,
right?
they do it a lot.
And they do it.
They
They do it a ton.
Never
But
quite
this-
seem to ever really hit on money.
But this is interesting here. So, number one, and we're gonna kind of go through this a little bit here, but we'll go quick for this first question, a direct question to you. Would anyone in professional wrestling ever get this kind of contract?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because nobody's worth $800 million. Roman Reigns is not worth $800 million.
So,
MJF is not worth 800, especially now, unfortunately. MJF is not worth anywhere near that kind of money. We talked about this a little bit before when we were talking about possibly including this in the show. Unfortunately, we're here. But nevertheless, Roman makes what? 10, 15 million a year?
mm-hmm.
And he's the highest paid wrestler by far. Like, this is not equitable from that standpoint. It's a different model. It's a different thing for money making and all that stuff. The industry itself is just different.
So I'm thinking even from the money is freaking out. This is just an exercise here. This contract is freaking outrageous. But this is, as you see, this is where the bidding is among top. The Red Sox fell short too. But this is where it's at. But
There was only 2 teams that were ever in the fucking race. Let's be honest.
But even from the
I'll
standpoint,
talk to anybody. Sure, you will, Juan. You fucking prick.
so Juan Soto. He's 28.
26.
26.
He just turned 26.
Just turned 26 this year. I threw out MJF as an exercise because he's 28.
Yeah, he's just signed Jonathan Losiaga too, by the way. There's our relief pitcher.
How about that?
Keep going.
But MJF's 28, but he he signed a new deal with
We don't know for
AEW.
how long. He didn't say.
We don't know for how long. So let's just say
32.
hypothetical. I'll even shorten it just for the exercise. Let's just say he's just signed a 2-year deal with AEW. And AEW, he schemed AEW. He's making max money. He's going to be on the market again when he's 30. So 2026, he's on the market again. Would even a 10-year deal be reasonable if it came down to it? MJF, you got somebody who, Roman Reigns at some point, Roman Reigns is already working part-time. At some point, he's going to be out of the picture. Cody Rhodes is the same age as Roman Reigns. And at some point, he's going to be out of the picture. And a lot of your top guys that's there now are going to be out of the picture. You do have young talent. You do have Braun Breaker. You do have Trick Williams. You do have Carmelo Hayes. You do have a lot of good young talent there. Would anybody at all make a case that, in order to land MJF to really be our centerpiece, you have to pay him for over a 10-year span? You will have him locked in until he's 40.
No. I think the max deal you'll probably see in wrestling is 5 years.
And I bring this up because I think WCW did a lot of that.
They did.
And that's why WCW ended up where they... But that was only to acquire a ton of top names.
So they didn't do the money you're thinking. They did the guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
There was no wrestling guarantees before you made the gate, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Bischoff and those guys said, no, we're going to give you $10 million. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Doesn't matter how many dates I work. Nope. $10 million. You make $10 million. Oh. And then on top of pay-per-view sales, you get bonuses. Oh.
Look at Hogan's deal with WCW.
Yeah. That's what it was.
In the heyday.
Yeah. Now, baseball contracts, there's a lot of language in there.
Yeah,
there's give and take, injuries. In any contract, there's injuries, clauses, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and baseball contracts in general, baseball contracts operate differently than any other sports, too.
If I chew a wrong pumpkin seed, I could lose $10 million.
And that's not a joke. I mean,
if I give the captain of the team ranch sunflower seeds instead of barbecue, I get docked $500,000. You never know. It's crazy shit.
Let me throw one other question at you that we kind of went over. Let's assume, this is real hypothetical. Let's assume Tony Khan, who back in the day would have been 20 years old, was president of AEW. Or I'm sorry, was president of TNA in 2004. And they, TNA.
I thought he was suckling in his mother's teat.
Yeah, if TNA had the budget that AEW has back in 2004, and they looked at John Cena, we're going to offer you a 15-year deal to come work for us. Highest paid, whatever the money would have been back then. But 15 years, you'll be with us. Bless you. Would, I don't think John Cena would take it. Would that have been a bad deal for TNA back then to make?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it was a situation where, I guess, what would be the best case scenario?
There wouldn't be. Right place, right time, right person. That's John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
He was almost fired from the company. He was almost nothing. Got lucky. Staff heard him rap. That's the story, right? I mean, and then the rest was history. It has to be the right place, the right time, and the right person who's controlling your story and narrative as well.
Mm-hmm.
TNA didn't have that. They never had that. That's why they've never been on serious level competition besides a little bit early on, but again, it was a lot of that good faith, kind of like with AEW, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, a lot of good faith. We want an alternative, that kind of shit. God forbid WWE gets hot again, then no one gives a fuck. Like,
You just,
this is,
and I think that's just the ultimate thing of all of this. It's like you got to have a situation where one company is down, and then you're up, and then you have a shot. And then that was AEW in 2019. I'm not turning this into an AEW thing, but I'm just saying, like, that has to be a situation.
well, this is fucking role reversal because the Yankee stock is up. They just went to the World Series for the first time since 2009. They've got the reigning MVP on their team.
And somebody made a point. Somebody made a point on this is more sports related, but this really relates to business. If you need a collection of people, you need a team, you need a culture, right? If you're turning to one person to be a savior, you're gonna flop. So that's probably what's gonna happen here with the Mets. But you saw it with the Browns. They turned to Deshaun Watson to be the savior. That didn't work out. Look at the New York Jets. They turned to Aaron Rodgers to be the savior. That's not working out.
There are two types of people in sports when it comes to superstars. There are the Juan Sotos, and there are the Jose Ramirez's. Cleveland, I support the Guardians. They're not my favorite team, but I still support them. There are levels to how good a person is and what they value.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell what Jose Ramirez values. Now you all can tell what Juan Soto values. Fuck, I gotta do this again? All right. All right.
And I'm wearing the same thing.
That's fucking wild, too, by the way. So, unfortunately, my hear me out here, misspelled, is kind of something we already talked about that I think you may actually be in agreement with. And if we go with the trend of mine being predicted things that end up happening, this very well could happen in short order. So, hear me out here. Misspelled. Finn Balor should be the World Heavyweight Champion. Plain and simple. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I didn't think CM Punk was going to be the fifth man in Survivor Series. Look what the fuck happened. So, yes, I think Finn Balor should become World Heavyweight Champion. I think it's his time. It makes a lot of sense from a standpoint of the work he's put into this point. You know, he was the first Universal Champion. They had that faith. Triple H had that faith in him then, too, to pitch that idea to Vince, to have Finn be a guy. Oh, but he's short hunter. Yeah, but he's got spunk, boss. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Vince likes the word spunk, so I'm sure that word was used at some point, and unfortunately probably spewed at some point as well.
God damn it.
Yeah, read the lawsuit. But nevertheless, I think it's just time. I think it's time for Finn to get it. I don't know how long he's going to have it. It could be for a couple weeks. I think the long title reign will elude him, but I think it is time. It's not going to be Drew McIntyre short, but it's going to be a couple weeks, couple months, something like that. Free up Gunther to do something with a bigger star that's off a little bit and give a little more intrigue into the world title picture as far as, okay, it's Gunther. Like, who is really going to beat Gunther? Well, triple threat match. This is an opportunity for WWE to open up a lot of doors like we talked about before. Makes a lot of sense.
The only part I disagree with is you saying it's probably not going to happen. I think it's fully going to happen.
I got to keep with the trend of these.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's fully going to happen. I think you have that too. Look, we talked about it earlier in the show. All signs point to Finn and Damian meeting one-on-one.
Yeah, at some point.
And if it's all about power, it's all about like who controls Monday Night Raw, and it's been the Judgment Day, it's been this blow up this entire time. It has to, and it's, the Judgment Day is successful when they listen to Finn. Finn has to have the championship.
If you listen to Finn, you'll win.
You'll win. If you listen to Finn, the world title is coming your way. He has to have the world title. I think, you know what? As we've gone through this show, we kind of talked about it before. I think Finn has to win this championship. I think Finn, because again, as you mentioned, short term and even long term, more doors are going to open. Gunther, and you're right. Gunther is at such a level where very few people can beat him.
Think about some of the guys, and I kind of reference this too because of John.
Mm-hmm.
Who has he not really worked with? I think when he comes back, he's going to want to work with guys that he hasn't really been around. Finn's one of those guys.
True.
Like, if he's champion or if he's at that top, I mean, it's Xavier Woods, some of those guys. Like, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does, and that would be my only thing. You need to plant your predictions. Plant them. Lock them in.
Well, no, it's
Hear me
hear
out.
me out.
Hear me out here.
Misspelled.
All right, rapid fire. I said that like we're at a funeral or something.
Here lies the rest. Rapid fire.
Saturday's main event. What does NBC expect out of the show? What so?
They have Jesse Ventura on commentary. So probably some conspiracy theories.
I know.
I'm Jesse Ventura. Do you know who actually killed John F. Kennedy? Okay, let break commercial.
Rachel Maddow will be. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
And here's Chris Hansen. Oh, Jesse, did you know where you were? Oh my God.
Oh, listen.
Took a turn.
That'll be an overrun.
Yeah.
What does NBC expect out of this Saturday night's main event?
2 hours of hard-hitting professional wrestling content.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much
No, but this is gonna be. I saw something on Facebook that some idiot was like, "Oh, they only have 3 matches. This is a glorified house show."
I mean, technically, it is a glorified house show.
Number one, listen. If you look at, first of all, there are 5 matches or 6. 5 matches or 6. So don't make that post before.
Is there really that many matches for a 2-hour show?
I think there are at least 5. So you have your 3 championship matches: Drew McIntyre versus Sammy, and the U.S. Championship final.
So 5.
5.
That's the normal Triple H pay-per-view card.
That's
limit.
that's a NXT Triple H led pay-per-view.
That makes sense.
And if you look at the card, now you will have commercials, so bear in there. This is a better looking card, arguably a better looking card than Survivor Series.
Stacking it up.
So I think NBC's gonna have like almost 10 of these specials throughout the year. They're
No,
gonna
it's
have
5 quarterly.
maybe
or 4 quarterly,
maybe.
5 quarterly, whatever.
Then their second one is going to be the week before the Rumble.
Yeah.
So do you remember when, this is going back a little bit, when UFC was on Fox? This is a little while ago. So when UFC,
I know you're like considerably older than me, but I don't remember.
So when UFC was on Fox Sports, they had quarterly shows on the main Fox network that was aligned like a week before a major UFC pay-per-view. So they were shows that were 2 hours long, the card, and they were shows that if you put them on pay-per-view, they would be B-level pay-per-views. But you put them on free television, holy smokes, this isn't
B level, so I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but this is an
both
A
major
level
championships, a new women's United States champion, the first ever. I mean, they're stacking it up. So I mean,
this is Speaking of the women's United States Championship, who should win it?
So what's do we have a Final Four now?
I have to pull it up. Again,
I know
bad job out
Bailey
of me.
and Chelsea is the one, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is Tiffany Stratton and
I think the names that you mentioned are the important ones.
I forget who Tiffany would be facing at that point. I don't know if they even got to that.
That's the other thing. Is it going to be so? There's 4 left. Is it going to be 2 one-on-one matches on SmackDown in the final, or is it going to be a fatal 4-way?
No, 2 one-on-one matches in the final.
1-on-1.
Well, whoever Tiffany's facing, I don't think it really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Michin. Mia. Yeah, I mean, come on. Right. So it's going to be Bailey and Tiffany Stratton in the final, and I think this is a good chance for Bailey to probably. You want to set the tone with the first champion.
Yeah.
The workhorse thing, the open challenges, that kind of stuff. She could open challenge Roxanne at some point. That could be a huge thing if she does move to SmackDown. I think Bailey makes the most sense.
Yeah. We joked before the tournament, and the fans shut it down, actually. It would be a travesty if Charlotte came back and won the tournament.
Now, I could see, so Chelsea Green
Mm-hmm.
and Dakota Kai over on the IC title side have both been dark horse favorites to go and win. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they really want to give Chelsea, I mean, she's done a lot of great character work. She's a very talented wrestler. I mean,
The
I
one
don't know.
flaw that you get with the tournament format, it might have just happened on this show, where sometimes with the tournament format, if you do it enough times or do it too many times,
you forget who's in it.
you forget who's in it.
To be fair, I mean, it made sense for what they were doing.
I know, yeah.
But sometimes you're like, you know what? Do a fucking battle royal.
True.
Not for these though. This deserves a spotlight, so I'm appreciative of it.
My last thing here, and then we'll wrap. The Wyatt 6.
This has to lead to something. That's why I'm praying.
I know.
Because this middle feud show up once in a while garbage needs to stop. Bo's not being taken seriously anymore either. It's concerning because this has so much potential, and it just feels like it's not going anywhere.
The Wyatt 6, that was the other back-to-back sweet moments.
Yeah.
The Wyatt 6.
Yeah. What's going on? Like, we got to figure this out. And if Finn wins the championship, it opens the doors to a lot, and I hope that's one of them. But we'll see.
With that being said, kudos to Karrion Kross, one of our first subjects of our Let's Fix It series.
He's on TV regularly. He's I guess for the most part, interesting now. People are somewhat intrigued.
Man.
The Miz is part of that too, so I mean, more credit to him. But again, it just feels like there could be more done with the Wyatt 6. Or it could be more of an emphasis on Cross versus Bo Dallas instead of this meddling kind of 4-on-4 shit.
Yeah, and it's just they're on television and they're not on television.
For like a month. And
They
then
do
show
promos
up.
and then they're not on television like at all.
Yeah.
And then
Just kind of like
but then they're still relying on it's an interesting. We don't want to do a Let's Fix It on the Wyatt 6.
I'd rather not.
But if this trend continues, all right, we're done. That's what's coming up over the next month as we get into our holiday season swing. Big show next week, of course. We'll react to Saturday night's main event, Raw, and and if AEW does anything interesting, which they won't. On the
You're
20th.
funny. Got jokes.
And then we got a couple of special shows for you over the holiday break. On the 26th, the day after Christmas, we will air we'll do our year-end award show. We got to figure out what they are.
Who's going to win the Golden Toilet Award? You were a spectacular pile of shit. So shiny, so bright, so promising. Yet, in the ditch you go.
Hold it up like this.
La toilet.
But we'll have that for you the day after Christmas. We'll have that for you. Our first show of the new year. We're actually excited about this one. So we're gonna bring in some correspondents, friends.
There's some people that
And some people. There's some people of range here that we're gonna bring in, and we're gonna do a town hall. And I'm actually pretty excited about this, just because we want to hear from other fans what they're thinking about professional wrestling. Those who watch every single week or close to watching every week, what they think about the product, what they're seeing, what do they want to see going forward. So we got a good mix of fans. We got an independent wrestler in this panel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So who's a champion here locally. So we cannot wait for that. That's coming up on the 2nd. And then on the 9th, we're back at it live to tape. First show of 2025.
First regular show.
First regular show. And looking at the date, we're going to be reacting to the first Raw on Netflix show. There's going to be a lot to break down on that show, and we will give you your way too early Royal Rumble prediction winners on that show. And then, of course, the 16th. 1 year. So we'll have a big show for that as we are panning things out. And, of course, all the other stuff going on as well. So we got a lot coming up in this next month right here. Congrats to Hammy for going to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
He's throwing shit in there.
Do it in there. Congrats to Hammy.
If there's one more slide with Soto as with a picture of the Mets jersey on, I'm going to
should have threw it in there.
Drop kick you off the
I
set.
should have threw it in there. But instead, BA Sweeties, check them out. Of course, during the holiday season, Christmas, check them out. Mike from State Farm, Megan Gallagher from Old Meg, Video Marketing. Now I have to do it. Follow us, of course, on social media. And voice of the land. They'll probably have something to say about the baseball happenings and stuff. Bill Belichick, new head coach over in North Carolina. And, of course, stuff with the Cavs since they have the whole week off since, the Cavs are the best team in basketball, but they don't qualify for the in-season tournament.
Talk about meaningless basketball. There you go.
Sometimes, the Atlanta Hawks, who are like 8th in the standings, are in the running to win this thing. What a concept. But check out our shows. And, of course, CVC. And one of these days I'll change that football to basketball afterwards as well. But we're done. You guys enjoy the week. Enjoy Saturday night's main event.
We'll see you for a retro recap on the next episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast.
The Body Venture coming at you.
Did I ever tell you Christ was a Jew?
Boy, darkness, darkness.